Miss Coomer here with your online art class. This week I'm going to have you guys making some graffiti lettered names, okay? So to get started, what you're going to want to do is, first of all, decide if you want to do your first name or your last name. I recommend doing your first name because first names tend to be shorter. If you have a really long first name, use a nickname. So for example, if your name is Samantha, write Sam instead of Samantha. I'm going to be using my first name, Holly, because it's nice and short. And I'm going to map it out. So really lightly, using all capital letters, I'm going to write Holly across my paper. And that's just to make sure that, number one, my letters are nice and big, but also really important, that way they all fit on the paper, okay? So I'm drawing this out really lightly. And again, that's just a guide. You might end up going a little bit on or off those letters later on, but you know how big things have to be or can be. From here, guys, I'm going to do a really simple image search of graffiti letters. There's a lot you can choose from. If you're feeling pretty comfortable, choose one that's a little bit more complicated. If not, find the one that's more simple. I'm not going to tell you exactly which font to use. That's a decision that you guys can make on your own. So I'm going to go with, look at, there's like sort of bubblier ones that are more squared, ones that are sort of skinny like that one. Choose one you like. I'll go with this one. And then I'm going to keep my reference close at hand so that I can use it. All right, so let's do my letter H first. Okay, so again, I sort of drew it out really lightly, and I'm going to use this as sort of like a skeleton and draw around it. Draw lightly at first. That way you can erase if you need to. The top of that H sort of slopes up. And there's my first graffiti letter. Now, when I go to the next one, a lot of times graffiti will sort of overlap. So I can, or I don't have to, leave a space between each letter. I'm going to have things pretty tight in there, so I'm not going to leave any space. My O, here in this text example, is really narrow at the top and then sort of bows out at the bottom. And then it's got this small opening here. And then I'm just going to keep going. So you guys can see with my Y in particular, I did end up going way off of my sort of mapping out here. Okay, so the Y ended up being way down here and not up here. Next step, we're going to go through and erase all of those letters I did initially. I went ahead and traced my letters with Sharpie so that you guys could see them better. But the next step is to add 3 layers of drop shadow. So that's going to be this outline that sort of goes around your entire text. Notice that the lines that I create sort of go in and out with the letters. I didn't just draw 3 circles around everything, okay? And now, guys, we're going to take it a little bit further. So if you're one of my people who only has a pencil at home, you're going to be shading this entire thing. So I'm going to start with my first letter. And when you shade, this is probably a review for a lot of you. When you want a nice dark value, you're going to press down hard with your pencil and probably do a few different layers. Okay, so I'm trying to get as dark a value as I can right now. And then I'm going to gradually begin to lift up on my pencil. And I'll do the same thing over here, same letter. Notice when I shade, I sort of color really close together. I'm not like leaving big spaces. And then when I'm done, I can take my finger and blend that out. It just sort of smooths things. Okay, so if you have a pencil, that's what you're going to do for this entire thing. If you're someone who has colored pencil, I'm going to have you shade with colored pencil. And there's a couple different options there. So let me grab a color that I like. Like this turquoise. I'm also going to grab a second color, this sort of lime green. So if I'm starting with the turquoise, just like with the pencil, I'm going to start off as dark as I can up at the top. And just like with a regular pencil, if you want a dark value with colored pencil, you have to press down. And then as you lighten, you're gently lifting up the pressure of the colored pencil. You're not pressing down so hard. Until it fades into white. And that looks really cool. I could leave it at that, or I could take another color and I could do a little bit of layering and blending. And I just love the way that looks. It starts to look like true graffiti. A lot of graffiti artists use color blending, which with a colored pencil is pretty easy. Imagine doing that with a bottle of spray paint. It'd be pretty difficult. I could even take an even darker color, a third color or a fourth color, and just keep playing around with that. Maybe add a little bit of shadow where the H overlaps the O. There we go. Looks a little funny on my camera, but... And then one of the last options I have available here at my house would be to paint. And I have some watercolor paints that I can use. So I'm going to set those up there. And then you're really doing the exact same thing, right? So we're starting off with a nice dark value and getting lighter. Now when it comes to watercolor paints, that means, let's start off with this pretty blue-green. So here I'm being pretty heavy with my paint. Nice and dark, really vibrant. And then to fade watercolor, I'm just going to slowly add more water into this. So rinsing off my brush, I'm just going to pull that paint color down. That's real pretty. Can add more color up here. Again, continue to pull it down. And I think that's how I'm going to finish my letters here. So need to do some kind of pattern in the back. So if I were using a pencil, maybe I would shade this area dark, the next line light, the next line dark. If I'm doing colors, you can imagine there'd be a cool color pattern back here. I'm gonna paint mine in. I think I'm gonna go black, gray, black. Okay. All right, guys, I can't wait to see your graffiti letters. Remember, you can choose whatever graffiti font that you can find online to use. Remember to map your letters out first. So really lightly go in and draw just the capital letters that are in the name. Make sure those are light so that you can erase them later. I hope you guys have fun with this. Have a great week.